And I think the most important thing to do now, without question, is to make sure we stop Donald Trump. What American politics looks like after that, what the Republican Party or a new Republican Party or a new conservative party looks like after that remains to be seen.
So Liz Cheney now saying that we have crossed some sort of line, or at least the Republican Party has, with their continued support for Donald Trump, and the threats, the stakes are so high that she might run a third party candidacy to stop Donald Trump. Now, whether that's the effect it would actually have, we're going to debate, but that's what she's saying. And this is following last week when she said that a vote for Trump may mean the last election that you ever get to vote in, and arguing that the nation is close to sleepwalking into dictatorship, which I've seen several people using that phrase right about now. She went on to say, several years ago, I would not have contemplated a third party run. I happen to think democracy is at risk at home, obviously, as a result of Donald Trump's continued grip on the Republican Party. And I think democracy is at risk internationally as well. And she says that it's not just about Donald Trump or the way that he inspires foreign dictators, but that also he would have all these enablers like Mike Johnson and others who would play ball with him, both in pursuing his policy goals, but also if he decided to do another coup or refuse to leave office. There are going to be far fewer safeguards baked into his administration than there were the first time around. So she hasn't made her decision. She said she's going to do that over the next few months. I definitely have thoughts about this, but Viviana, what do you think about a possible Liz Cheney third party run?
I applaud her. I applaud her for doing this in an environment where she is likely to be attacked, dragged. I like that she also said, like, hey, I'm not trying to, if it's going to throw everything off, I'm not going to do it. So, which means she's not going to have a chance, because we all know that the DNC and the RNC are very, very strong. They did it to Bernie. They wiped him out. They didn't give him a chance to even get ahead. So that is probably going to happen again. But I think this is really important that we are seeing someone as powerful from a family as powerful as Liz Cheney stepping forward and really sounding the alarm to other, fiscal conservatives, that I'll call them instead of the MAGA conservatives, that we need to hold on to democracy. We cannot get swept away with this rhetoric. We cannot get swept away, even if you like all the racist things that he's saying. We got to hold on to democracy. And I love that she's stepping forward to doing this. And it's really taking a page out of her dad's handbook, really just trying to kind of butt against, where the majority is going in his party and do what's right. And I never thought I'd say that about a Cheney.
Yeah, it does feel weird saying anything positive about Cheney. Look, I would say, I don't know that she will end up doing this. She says that she would not do it if she thought that she would play a spoiler role that would increase his chance of getting elected. And I cannot say for sure what would happen, although I'm sure polling will be done. But I think that there's a very real chance that her running would actually make it more likely that he would win. The question comes down to, if she were to run, who would vote for her? And if she didn't run, who would they instead vote for? So if you believe that her running means a bunch of Republicans would be like, I like her more than Trump, so I'm not gonna vote for Trump, I'm gonna vote for her, then sure, that makes perfect sense from Liz Cheney's point of view. But it could also be that in the absence of Liz Cheney, those Republicans who find Trump to be appalling are going to vote for Biden. And if instead of voting for Biden, they vote for her, then that actually raises Donald Trump's chances in a race where some of these states might be determined by less than 10,000 votes. And I don't know exactly which of those makes more sense. My gut says that those reasonable Republicans are not going to vote for Donald Trump. She's not going to pull Republicans from Trump. She's just going to pull maybe some people who wouldn't vote at all, which that doesn't really have much of an effect on the election, or people who would vote for Biden. So I would be at least a little bit worried if she were to run. But again, I don't know for sure. Do you have any thoughts about that?
I think the fact that she said she doesn't want to be a spoiler means she's not going to run. It's just, she will be. Probably, she won't have a chance. I think of the Republican Party, if they're going to vote for a woman, it's going to be Nikki Haley. It's not going to be her. She doesn't have the power behind her. She hasn't been getting, and she's Nikki Haley is close enough to Trump that they'd be like, well, she kind of likes a lot of the same, oh, sorry. So I just think that it's going to come down to it. She realizes that she's not going to have the chance, and she's not going to just, throw Ross Perot in there. She's not going to do it that way. Mm-hmm. So we probably won't see her on the ticket.
And also, and I'll give this out to everyone to think about as we go into our next break. It's not just that she would potentially be a spoiler, but she would be interacting with other third-party candidates And then that's all these different variables of who votes for who. Like, how do you dice up the people who would not vote for Trump, but they want RFK Jr., or maybe it's Jill Stein or her? Like, that gets really complicated. And I don't think that there will ever be polling enough to really tease that out. So there's going to be a lot of chaos.
What party would she run under? She didn't say.
It'd be Liz Cheney for America, I'm assuming.
She'd create her own party.
Probably, that would be my guess. Reform, I don't know. I'm not sure, but we'll see. We'll see. We're about to launch into that. The Iowa caucus is not that far away, so everyone prepare yourself.